Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's Kesher presentation. My name is Dora. I'm one of the founders and organizers of Kesher, and the other one is Sebastian. You can also find him here under the name Kesher. It's the two of us who started this project 6 years ago now, and I see a lot of familiar faces also today. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And if you're joining us for the first time, we want to give you a very warm welcome. We're based in Budapest, in Hungary, and Kesher means connection in Hebrew. Our mission with this project is to share Jewish history, heritage, culture, present day Jewish life from all over the world. So you probably know, or many of you have seen some of our events in which we do virtual tours or lectures about a specific cities or countries' Jewish heritage. Today is a somewhat special event because we're not going to do a full virtual tour of a city, but we're going to focus on the Krakow Jewish Festival, which just happened a few weeks ago in Krakow. And we are very happy to welcome Olga Bokhonovskaya, who is our guide for today. She is based in Krakow. She lives in Krakow now and also sometimes in Berlin and Germany. She's originally from Odessa, Ukraine, where she had a travel company, Odessa Walks. And currently, her new company is called Your Jewish Heritage Guide, and she guides in Poland and in Germany. She will share a bit with us after the presentation also about her tours for those of you who are interested in maybe joining her. But for now, I'll pass the word to her, and she'll share with us how was the Krakow Jewish Festival of 2026.
Thank you, Dora, for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and thanks for finding the time to join us here today for this talk, uh, which will take us to the Krakow Jewish Festival that happened about 3 weeks ago. I compiled a film, which I'm gonna play, and while show you the film, I will tell you all about the festival. I will give you the highlights of the festival. So all of the footage, all of the video clips were taken by me during the Jewish Culture Festival, which happened the first week of July. And that was the 35th annual Jewish Culture Festival, which is being held in Krakow since late 1980s, and which is regarded being one of the largest events of such kind outside Israel. So let's get started. And as always, the festival happens here in Kazimierz, which is Krakow's historic district. So why Kazimierz? Because in 1490s, the King of Poland ordered about 1,000 Jews to leave Krakow and move to an independent town located in the city suburbs, and that was Kazimierz. And for about 400 years, Kazimierz was the main and only address for the thousands of Krakow Jews. Only in 1860s, when the Krakow Jews received equal rights, they were allowed to resettle in the city. That's when over 50% of the Krakow Jews moved back to the city. The rest continued living here in Kazimierz. Where you see this metal fence, there was the only entrance gate into the Jewish quarter. And these days, this spot is occupied, or during the festival, the spot is occupied by the festival's tent and the banner, which is dedicated to the festival's motive that was this year's the gate. So why was the gate chosen as this year's motive and actually at this festival tent, they had a screen, and throughout the festival, they've been showing different images of the streets of Krakow, Kazimierz before the Second World War, the streets of Jerusalem, and different gates, both in Jerusalem and in Krakow. So why the gate? And each year, the festival has a different motive. So this year, the gate. The gate is mentioned in the Bible about 368 times. And I'm reading out now the quotation by Janusz Makoch, the co-founder of the festival, in which he explains his vision behind the motive. So the gate is mentioned in the Bible about 368 times in diverse contexts. And here you see Janusz Makoch talking about that at the festival's opening on day one. So in diverse contexts, whether historical or metaphorical, it always plays a crucial or even groundbreaking role in either mundane or mystical human life. Long time ago, we laid a stone at the border of two worlds. Today, on its place, there is the gate of the Jewish Culture Festival, built for 38 years by 3 generations of Poles, Jews, and people of goodwill. Nothing will break this gate, neither a disaster nor a human. You will not find it among material objects. This gate is inside each of us. It's the gate of life. When crossing the threshold, you enter the space of Jewish culture, which, together with religion, was once a cornerstone supporting Kazimierz, the one that no longer exists. They come each year to Kazimierz in order to take part in the celebration of the Jewish culture, the Jews, Christians, Muslims, citizens of Europe, Israel, both America, Poland, Arabic countries, Ukraine, Russia, Belarus. Your presence at the gate of the Jewish Culture Festival creates a mystery of spiritual purification, releasing mutual respect, understanding, and tenderness. In the dark times of hatred, this is redemption. The Jewish Culture Festival, the gate of the Jewish Kazimierz, has always been open and will always be for those free from prejudice, those who want to meet within its space to celebrate life together, the Jewish life. Everyone who enters the gate is our guest. We treat them with utmost respect, trusting that they will treat us with similar respect. At the gate of life, as in life itself, various things happen, some bordering on poetry and dreams, others bordering on painful reality, but forever and always within the bounds of freedom and respect for the dignity of others. So I've just read out the vision of Janusz Makoch, who you see presenting on stage right now, and it's printed on the first page of the festival's program. So Janusz Makoch is a co-founder and the main visionary behind this festival. It was his idea to organize a one-day exhibition dedicated to the Krakow Jewish heritage in late 1980s, and it evolved into a 5-day festival. Polish airline. So among the sponsors of the festival are the city council, the regional government, Polish airlines, and different Jewish foundations. And you can see the list on the screen of the festival's tent. This year, the festival was dedicated to Tadeusz Taube. You can see him right now, the founder of the Taube Foundation, which has been supporting a lot of Jewish heritage projects, including the founding of the Jewish Museum in Warsaw. He was born in Krakow in early 1930s, He managed to flee the country together with his parents just a few months before the war. He became a successful businessman in the States, graduating from Stanford. He died this year. So this year's festival has been dedicated to Tadeusz Taube. The festival's program consists of 5 days of 120 different events.
Mm.
You see me here talking about briefly about the brochure, and every evening exactly there was a klezmer band performing, or every day at this festival's tent. There were concerts at the temple. The first event was usually held at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, and we're now in the conference room of the Faculty of Judaica of the Krakow University. And they are a great supporter of the festival. That's the festival's tent. Another event on Jewish history, on religious topics in general, on the Jewish heritage of Poland, Krakow, other parts of Europe. That was a very interesting presentation about the Gate of Lublin, and there were workshops on Yiddish dancing and singing. So the festival's venues are this tent, where different events were organized daily and they were free. The Faculty of Judaica of the Krakow University, which is also known as the Jagiellonian University. This year, there was a special performance held at the front yard of the old synagogue of Kazimierz, and it was based on the novel written by Isaac Bashevis Singer, The Magician from Lublin. And we're now in the heart of the old Jewish quarter in Kazimierz. A very special event is usually held each year during the festival in the Galicia Jewish Museum. It's called Preserving Memory, and this year it was attended by the ambassador of Israel to Poland. That's him opening the ceremony. The ceremony each year awards the Polish Christians who dedicate their time and efforts into preserving the Jewish heritage in different places across Poland. So let me give you just a small quotation of what the ambassador of Israel to Poland is saying at the moment. Last time I attended the ceremony was 10 years ago, and I'm happy to see that the tradition is going on. In the booklet, which has been passed out, you'll see that this year's ceremony has nominees from all over the world, or from all over Poland, with the exception of the northern parts. And it's not just the Jewish heritage, it's our heritage, which has been shared by the Poles and the Christian Poles and the Jews for over 1,000 years. Here's Michael Chesson, the main visionary behind the ceremony. And he explains how many years ago, and that's the 29th ceremony. So many years ago, when the wall was just broken, he first visited Poland with lots of knowledge and zero experience of being in the country. And he was amazed when he saw a lot of Christian Poles dedicating their time and efforts towards preserving the Jewish heritage in the country. And he thought that something important had to be done. So the ceremony was organized. Sorry? Then there were evening concerts at the festival tent. Some are ticketed, and there were concerts, evening concerts at the temple. And the highlight was the cantor's concert. That's the main and only temple built by the progressive Jews in 1860s. A concert synagogue. Then there was the concert of the synagogue organ music, and the concert was held in the Catholic Church. And as you can see it yourselves, it was quite well attended. Another venue of the festival is always the Galicia Jewish Museum. Shabbat was celebrated in the Galicia Jewish Museum. A few special exhibitions were held there during the festival. That's on top of the regular exhibitions which they have there. So these year's special exhibitions were dedicated to the destroyed synagogues and to the Jewish paper cuts. The Jewish paper cut school was established in Krakow in 1990s, and since that time, they've been taking an active part in the festival, organizing not only special exhibitions, but also workshops for the attendees. And here you can see paper cuts on different topics. Including the Polish forest, which has a very important meaning, which had a very important meaning for the Polish Jews. Another big supporter of the Krakow Jewish Festival is the Krakow JCC, and that's the community center. That's the conference room where they had a lot of talks, presentations, even a cooking class, where everyone who was willing to do so was taught how to make challah bread. And here you see the head of the Krakow JCC sharing his vision of what Poland is for the Jews today, what Krakow is for the Jews today, giving the updates on the community. Last year, they opened a preschool in this building. The first Jewish preschool opened in Krakow for the first time since after the Second World War. The Krakow Jewish Community Center was opened in 2008 on a major donation of King Charles II, the third. The Faculty of Judaica of the Krakow University this year celebrated its 40th anniversary. Its staff does major research on the Jewish heritage of Krakow and Galicia, and usually every year during the festival, they do very interesting presentations. The High Synagogue is one of the 6 old synagogues of Kazimierz. It opens its doors only once a year during the Jewish Culture Festival. That's when, in the main prayer room, they usually have special exhibitions. This year, they shared photographies dedicated to the lives of the Hasidim. And it's also a great chance for everyone to go inside the High Synagogue to enjoy the remaining fragments of its original interior. Throughout the year, the synagogue is usually closed. And here are the original fragments of the interior of the synagogue, which was built in the middle of the 16th century. They were uncovered in 1990s. And we are back to the festival tent, which is definitely one of the main venues of the festival. The office of the organizers is right next to the festival tent, and everyone could pick up a program there and see if there were any interesting events and join them. And there were actually quite people who were joining the festival's events who were just walking by. We continue our walk around Kazimierz, the old Krakow Jewish quarter, and we are at the Rama synagogue, the only old active synagogue. And that's where one could attend a Shabbat service, religious service, traditional Orthodox. The second service was held at the Galicia Jewish Museum and was organized by the progressive community. And we're now in the Galicia Jewish Museum, virtually joining for a few minutes the Shabbat service, which was organized by the progressive community.
It is the welcoming of Shabbat, the holiday in Judaism.
And there was a Shabbat dinner at the Krakow JCC. And I've just spotted a comment that someone attended it. And there was an evening, a Shabbat evening at the festival's tent.
I zaczynamy tak jak na początku. Raz, dwa, trzy, i 4, i.
It's like as when we started.
And there was a Shabbat breakfast served in this restaurant, which was also located right next to the festival's tent. And as many of the restaurants and delis during the Jewish festival, it was decorated with the festival's posters. And the time flew by. These were 5 days of the festival and over 120 different festivals events. Next year, the festival will be held during the last week of June. The program is usually announced either in January or in February. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Olga. So you finished this part of the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you're going to share a bit about your tours, what kind of tours you host in Poland and in Germany, or if people are interested in visiting these countries, what can they find, or how can they get in touch, or what do you offer?
Thank you, Dora. So I launched my first tour agency in 2011 in my hometown, Odessa, and from the start, we specialized in general sightseeing, cultural, and Jewish heritage tours. When the war in Ukraine started, I moved to Germany, and since September 2022, I've been dividing my time between actually Poland, mainly Krakow, and Germany. I established another tour agency here, which is called Your Jewish Heritage Guide. We focus on Jewish heritage tours across Poland. We do Jewish heritage tours in Berlin, in Bavaria, in Rhineland. So we'll be happy to take you around to create a custom itinerary of your trip. Krakow, Woods, Bialystok, Berlin, different places in Bavaria. More info is available on our website, yourjewishheritageguide.com.
Thank you. So I will read some questions that came in while during the presentation. How large is the Jewish population in Krakow now?
So these days, if you ask Krakow JCC, they will give you the number of about 2,000 people, but they factor in those people who want to be connected with the community, who might have had Jewish grandparents or great grandparents. These are the young generation who have been learning and discovering their roots. And they want to reconnect. According to other sources, there are about 350 Jews who belong mainly to the progressive and traditional Orthodox communities, and there is a small Chabad representation.
Thank you. Are there any kosher restaurants in Kazimierz?
Yes, that restaurant where they serve breakfast is, I believe, kosher. There's definitely a kosher restaurant on the main square, which is known as Shiraka or Broad Street. There is a Jewish community there right next to the Rama synagogue called the Friends of Jerusalem, so they have a kosher restaurant.
Thank you. Has there ever been any Jewish film festivals in Krakow or in Poland?
Not in Krakow, neither in Krakow nor in Poland, to the best of my knowledge. In Krakow, for sure not. There is another Jewish Culture Festival, which also runs in summer, in June, and also this year is going to be running in September, and it celebrates Galicia Jewish heritage. And it's organized by the historians and the Cultural and Historical Committee of Tarnów. So that's another very important festival celebrating the Jewish heritage of this region, held in Tarnów annually.
Thank you. And someone mentioned that there is also a Jewish festival in Warsaw.
In Warsaw, yeah.
And actually, there is a Jewish film festival in Budapest. So those who are interested in that, in every November, Jewish and Israeli film festival. You showed us a concert with Chazanim, with cantors. Who were they?
I
They
don't remember. I don't really remember the names, but you can go to the Jewish Festival website. It's jewishfestival.pl, and they still have the program of this year festival, and they have more clips from the concerts which they held at the temple, and over there they have the names.
Thank you. So we will send this out to everyone in tomorrow's follow-up resources, this website that Olga just mentioned, so you can look for these clips. Morris, go ahead.
Hi, Olga.
Hi, Morris. I'm happy to reconnect.
Yeah, I joined a little bit late, but anyway, it looks like the attendance to me was not as large as last year's. Is that correct?
Well, sometimes it was as large as last year, sometimes it wasn't. But last year, we also had the Ride for the Living, which you actually joined, if I'm not mistaken, right? And it happened the same at the same time, the same week as the Jewish festival. And a lot of people who attended the Ride for the Living also attended the festival. So this year, the festival was moved to the first week of July, and the Ride for the living happened at its usual time. So that's why it affected the attendance a little
Right.
bit.
I know last year I attended the Friday night Shabbat service at the museum. And then after that, we had our Shabbat evening dinner, and there were like 700 people.
Yeah.
So the picture you showed, it was at the JCC. This one was about 3 blocks from the museum. They had
hmm
700 people there, which was amazing.
Yep.
So did Frank London perform this year?
Yes, he did. He did.
Mm.
It did. They had the concert at the tent, and that was the last concert
Mhm.
of the festival held on Saturday. That's usually like the highlight.
Right. Yeah, last year the Cantor's concert was on Sunday, but we missed it because we had to get on to Gdynia. We were
Yeah,
limited on time, so we missed the Cantor's concert. Well, it's great to see you.
great to see you.
Thank you, Morris. So I'll get back to the questions in the chat. You showed an exhibition where you mentioned that there's a special meaning behind the Polish forest. If you could explain a bit further what you meant by that.
Yep, symbolic meaning, important meaning of the Polish forest. So if you ever get to go to the Jewish Museum in Warsaw, to the Poland Museum, at the entrance hall, there is an exhibition which takes you through a forest or to a forest, which recreates a forest. In the middle of the 1300s, in the middle of the 14th century, when the Jews were expelled from most of the places in Central Europe during the time of the Black Death, they had to go somewhere, and they went east because they couldn't go west. And they started walking around the forests of what was the Polish kingdom back then. And they heard the birds singing Polin, which means you shall rest here, and here you should rest. And the Jews stayed in Poland, and they created the meadows in those forests and established their settlements. So that's a legend which is shared right at the first hall of the Jewish Museum in Warsaw, which is connected with the Polish forest. In reality, the king of Poland, who reigned over the kingdom at the time, his name was the King Kazimierz, encouraged the Jews to settle in his kingdom. He wanted to elevate the status of the Polish kingdom. The Jews were expelled. He encouraged them to settle in the kingdom. So that's the true story. But then there is a beautiful legend and the symbolic meaning of the forest.
Thank you. There's a comment that actually there were many films during the festival this year. So we can say that it included a bit of a film festival also.
Exactly. In the Galicia Jewish Museum, they were showing the films pretty much every day. There were special films. Yep.
Thank you.
Documentaries, fiction, sorry, I interrupted you. Nuremberg, so different types of films. Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you. There was a question if there were any problems with anti-Israel protests.
There were no protests.
Thank you. David, are you raising your hand? Okay, then go ahead and unmute if you know how to. There's the microphone button on the bottom left. And let's see. In the meantime,
let me say another comment on the topic of safety. The head of the Krakow JCC during his speech, and you saw him presenting, and that film said that Poland these days is one of the safest places for the Jews to be in Europe. I'm just giving you his quotation. And Morris, I'm sure you heard the same, and you heard Jason saying the same last year at the Right for the Living.
Thank you. I think David managed to unmute.
Yes, thank you. Yes, a wonderful presentation giving a very good overview of the sort of things that do happen at the festival. I've been going since 2010 on a regular basis to the festival, and what constantly amazes me and gladdens me is the interest at the festival from non-Jews, non-Jewish Poles in particular. In previous years, there were thousands of Jews coming from all over the world to the festival, It's less attendance at the moment, but you still have a lot of interest from non-Jewish Poles at the festival who participate in all of the events, and many of the events, in fact, are in Polish. And a few are also in Ukrainian as well as Polish, because there's a large Ukrainian refugee population there now. But it's particularly the interest from non-Jews that I find interesting, because we have heard a lot about anti-Semitism and rising anti-Semitism in the world. And here is a very good example, I think, where Jews and non-Jews can meet and learn together and participate, dance together, and discuss issues together. And that is, I think, a wonderful thing.
Thank you. I completely agree. Yeah, especially at the festival stand, those events and Yiddish dancing and singing workshops at the festival stand, and all of the evening concerts, yeah, were very well attended by the Christian Poles who have no Jewish roots or no connections. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for the comment. If there are any more questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And I'll just take a minute while we wait if there are other questions to let you know about our upcoming events, because we have two kind of related talks coming up this week. On Thursday, we will also focus on Galicia, but we will focus on the Ukrainian side, Lviv and Brody. So if you're interested in this region, it's also going to be very special and interesting. And on Sunday, we'll have a talk about the Jews of Prague in the Czech Republic. So we are staying in Central Europe, Central Eastern Europe this week. So please join us if you are curious to learn more. I don't see now more questions, so we will close for today. Thank you so much, Olga, for guiding us through and letting us have this little sneak peek into what the festival was like this year. And of course, thank you everyone for joining us and for your questions. We hope you enjoyed and felt a little bit like you also took part in this very unique festival.
Thank you, Dora. Thank you all for joining us for this talk.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll send you tomorrow some resources and, of course, including this presentation.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.